Good morning, everyone. The first idea that is worth spreading is punctuality. So hats off to TEDxSairam for starting right bang on time. Congratulations. We all need to be punctual, and I'm running late by 15 seconds now. Sorry about that. It gives me great pleasure to be here with you all, with such young minds. And believe me, I'm young myself, and I don't know why I dressed like this, like a politician today. Even my house members asked me, "Hey, இப்படி ஒரு அரசியல்வாதி மாதிரி போற அப்படின்னு கேட்டா." But that probably explains the fear-induced respect that I got over here in the reception. But if I had known my photos were going to be like this, I would have come in a different attire, believe me. Today, it's a very momentous occasion for me to be with you all and to be in this stage where I believe innovations are made, ideas are spread, and minds are inspired. So before I begin, and believe me, I don't have an agenda for today. I just want to speak about music, and I just want to find out what music means to you all, and I want to get inspired by the thoughts that I get from you. Those of you in the auditorium, can you please raise your hands if you enjoy listening to music? How many of you? That is quite a bit. I go a step further, and I'm going to ask you, how many of you enjoy listening to Indian classical music? How many of you enjoy listening to South Indian classical Carnatic music? And how many of you have learned classical Carnatic music? Yes. So the number of hands that are being raised were steadily declining from the question number 1 till now. This decrease is the point that I would like to address in my 15 minutes or so. To understand why people are still a little skeptical about South Indian classical music, we need to understand what do people really make sense out of Carnatic music. How do they see or how do they comprehend South Indian classical music? It is all about emotions, I would say. And of all the various quotes about music, the various proverbs about music that we all have heard and read, my favorite is by Hans Christian Andersen, who was a very famous author of fairy tales. He said, "Where words fail, music speaks." And probably you all know Johnny Depp, the Hollywood actor. The girls? Yes, you do. He once said in his interview, which really touched me, he said, "Music touches me emotionally, where words alone just can't." It's true. Music expresses those emotions that cannot be said in words, that cannot be spoken in words, that cannot be written in words. I would just like to demonstrate a few points to make you understand this clearly. During one of my concerts in Europe several years back, I was being asked to sing one of the chart busters, as you would call today, the very popular numbers towards the end of a concert, because we want people to leave the hall in a very happy frame of mind, not in a very sad frame where they could not reach home or something like that. So this is a poem by Bharatiyar, Subramanya Bharatiyar, and there was this aged person from India who was settled in Europe and who asked me to sing the song that would probably remind him of his days in Chennai. And this was the way I sang it. ஆசை முகம் மறந்து போச்சே, இதை யாரிடம் சொல்வேனடி தோழி, ஆசை முகம் மறந்து போச்சே இதை யாரிடம் சொல்வேனடி தோழி நேசம் மறக்கவில்லை நெஞ்சம் நேசம் மறக்கவில்லை நெஞ்சம் நேசம் மறக்கவில்லை நெஞ்சம் நேசம் மறக்கவில்லை நெஞ்சம் எனில் நினைவு முகம் மறக்கலாமோ ஆசை முகம் மறந்து போச்சே ஆசை முகம் மறந்து போச்சே ஆசை முகம் மறந்து போச்சே Thank you. There was a very similar thunderous applause at the end of this song because this is a very popular song by Bharatiyar. And the concert was mostly attended by Tamils, Tamilian. There was one European who came up to me and asked, I particularly enjoyed your concert, and the last song that you sang reminded me of a minor scale in Western music. Could you tell me more about that song, he asked. I said, this is a very famous poem by a Tamil poet called Subramanya Bharatiyar, and this is set in the ragam Jaunpuri, and it's close to your minor scale in Western music. And he asked me, can you explain the meaning of this song, please? And I thought for a bit and said that, well, Bharatiyar has written this poem as a lament, and he feels sad because he has forgotten the face that he used to love so dearly at one point of time. And he complains, what is the use of having my eyes when it is just not possible to see the beloved face that I cannot remember nowadays. So the friend asked me, so this is basically a poem filled with sadness, right? This is a poem filled with lament, right? He said. I said, yes. But in your rendition, I could see anything but that. He said, I could just not feel lament in your music. It was so joyous. And the tempo of the song and the participation of my accompanying artists. And I told you, while leaving the auditorium, we want the audience to feel happy and all cheered up and charged up. So the end of the concert is usually what we call Janaranjakam, or popular numbers and peppy numbers. And they can come home in a very happy state of mind. But this fellow, he said, I could not feel any sadness in this song. Cut to 3 years later, after that incident, I'm going to play you a very short clip of a music which I recorded with my dear friend and very famous pianist, Anil Srinivasan. The same song, listen to this. Just a sample of the music that I recorded with Anil Srinivasan, the same song. When this was presented to a European crowd and to an American crowd, They didn't know the language of the song, and no one even bothered to come up and ask me what is the meaning of the song. They knew that this song was filled with sadness. And to go on further, I would like to place it on record by saying that Subramanya Bharatiyar has composed this poem not on Lord Krishna as he usually does. This is a poem that he composed when he lost the only photograph that he had of his mother. He lost his mother at a very early age. And when that photograph got burnt, he was absolutely in despair, and he composed this song saying, "Asai mugam marandu poche idu yaridam solvenadi thodi." So he had actually forgotten the face of his mother because she passed away when he was barely 8 years old. So that was the emotion behind this song, and this kind of music touched the heart of an American population and a European crowd. So this goes to prove that the language behind the song, if rendered properly with the right kind of music, it can give you the desired emotional effect. So music and emotions is what I'm going to be briefing you upon for the next few minutes. We all love Ilayaraja, don't we? We don't? We do. So I'm just going to play another clip by Ilayaraja. This is a very famous song from a very famous movie called Unnal Mudiyum Thambi. The heroine's name is Lalita Kamalam, and Lalita is a very famous ragam in Carnatic music that goes like Sanida magare sarika mada magare sa. Ilayaraja, the genius that he is, uses the same ragam to portray 3 different kinds of situations in the movie. I'm just going to prove that music alone is enough for portraying 3 different kinds of emotions. The first one, when Kamal and the heroine Sita have just introduced each other and have introduced themselves to each other, and they are in a very chirpy and a very bubbly mood, very childish sort of love. And the second emotion where there's the usual lovers spat and they are having some cold war in between them. And the third, a very serious tone where the same tune is used to portray a situation where their love almost ends in tragedy. So just listen to the way, the same tune. The same tune used in 3 different ways portrays 3 different emotions. Here we go. The chirpy mood. That is genius, pure genius. So music is nothing but portraying different emotions through your creativity. You choose a tune and you render it properly according to the emotion behind the situation, and you get the desired effect. So I'm going to quickly sing a song in which we can use lyrics also to portray the desired emotion. A song by Neelakanta Sivan where he prays to Lord Shiva and cries to Lord Shiva for deliverance. He says, I cannot stand in this world any longer. I cannot live in this world any longer. When is it that you're going to come and release me from my worldly life and worldly sins? Set in the raga Mukhari. This is how the song goes. Kandril kuralai kettu
பசும் போல் ஒன்று கூமஞ்சாத உள்ள துயரம் நீக்க என்றைக்கு சிவகிருபை வருமோ என்றைக்கு சிவகிருபை வருமோ ஏழை என் மன சஞ்சலம் ஆறுமோ என்றைக்கு சிவகிருபை வருமோ.
The same Lord Shiva, Muthutandavar, has a very joyous occasion. He is going to see Lord Nataraja of Chidambaram, and this is how he prefers to sing it. Sevika vendumaya Chidambaram, Sevika vendumaya Chidambaram, Sevika vendumaya. Sevika vendum Chidambaramurtiya Devadi Devan Tiruchanidhi Kandu Sevika vendumaya Chidambaram Sevika vendumaya Chidambaram. A very joyous occasion. He's going to see Lord Shiva and explains the structure of Chidambaram temple and the grace and the beauty of Lord Nataraja's idol. And he chooses a different scale, and this is how this song, although again on Lord Nataraja, portrays a very joyous and a very happy spirit. So this is how language is also used to enhance the emotions behind the song. And to conclude today's segment, I would like to sing and show how creativity matters in a concert, how creativity enhances the beauty of emotions. As you all know, Carnatic music concert is a lot to do with creativity. And if 30% of our music is rehearsed at home, 70% is what we do on stage, improvise on stage, on spot. And that's why the success of a concert cannot be measured unless the concert is over, where all our creative elements have been properly portrayed to the audience. So this is one concept that myself and my very good friend from Bangalore, H.K. Venkatraman, in fact, he did the same concept at TEDx in Bangalore last year, where we show how one note and one swaram changes the entire emotion of a ragam. I'm just going to be singing a little bit of Thanam, which is a semi-rhythmic exercise. Two ragas closely followed after each other. I'm going to present them consecutively, and both ragas have just one note as the differentiating one, and you'll be able to see how that one note removes one mood and replaces it with another. So we just call this as one note sudden change mood technique. It's a very cheeky name, I know, but still. Here we go. Valaj and Malay Maratham. Two ragas, Valaj and Malay Maratham. Anam dam dam dada nam dam dada nam dam dada nam dam dada ganam ta nam ta ganam tam tam dada nam tam dada ganam dada ganam tam dam da. Second one. Anum dum dum da da ganum dum da da ganum dum da da num da da num da da num dum dum da da num da da ganum da da gara gara num dum 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 da da num da da ganum dum dum num dum da da num da da ganum dum da da num da. That one rishabam adds a different flavor. Move on. Move on to Kalyani and Kosalam, two very famous ragas. Kalyani, you might all have heard. Kalyani portrays love. Kosalam portrays a little bit of sadness and a different flavor. Let's see how.
na na ra 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 ra. Anandam dadanam danam dadanam dadagano tanam dadanam tam tam dadagano dada agano do dadagano do dadano do dadano do dadano do do dano do dano dadano da ano do dano danum dum dadanum 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 dum dadanum 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 da anum dadanum danum dum dum dano do dadanum dum dum dadano dadano do dadano do dadano do dadano do dadano dadano anum dum da.
Just one note, it changes. And again, a short clipping of how Ilayaraja has used the same thing in his movie Thalapathy, when Rajinikanth and Shobana meet. Sundari Kannal ஒரு செய்தி is in the ragam Kalyani. And when they separate from each other during the first stanza because he is at war in the dream sequence, the mood changes by one note to Kosalam. Just listen to that. This is Kalyani. That right there is Kosalam. Kalyani. Kosalam. Why? It's sadness, because the hero and heroine are away from each other. So love is portrayed by Kalyani, and pining for love in sadness is portrayed by Kosalam. So that is what happens, my dear friends, when music and emotions are portrayed in perfect unison with each other. So music, I think it's a universal language. I think I've made at least a little sense to you all by my speech for the last 18 to 15 minutes, 15 to 18 minutes. So I would just like to conclude by saying that music is a language by itself. You need not make any special effort to learn the language of music. And that language is nothing but emotions. If you have a heart that feels and a mind that thinks, you can definitely enjoy Carnatic music in all its grandeur. You have to surrender to it. Once you surrender to music, you start your journey into its deep recesses, the deep layers of emotions and wondrous beauty associated. And as a musician, to surrender to music, you must dream and you must dare to do it. And I'm doing it. Thank you so much.